Well, hello, my lords and ladies, and welcome to another episode of our Elden Ring as we are winding down finally. I think we got 2 miniatures after this left. First off, I want to say thank you to all my YouTube members. You guys are absolutely amazing, including our new Nerd Knights royalty, Chris Sabol. You are the highest tier, and you get to pick a miniature a month if you didn't see it on the first video, so just DM me what you would like to be seen. We can converse about it and figure it out. You are awesome. This is actually a really easy video. Without further ado, let's go. All right, the first thing you're gonna do is scrape up all those nasty mold lines, and I spray painted this in black and then did white zenithal highlighting from above. We're gonna be painting all the fleshy areas in Fyreslayer Flesh, avoiding the fur areas and obviously the hair. Don't be crazy not to just throw it on there. A little bit big of a surface area, nothing crazy, but it will take you. This probably will take you the longest portion of the miniature. All right, after that is dry completely, we're going to do a dry brush of Bugman's Glow, and we're going to dry brush that all over our skin area. If you get this on the other areas, it's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. It's going to happen. We're going to paint over here in a little bit anyways. With a second dry brush, we're just going to be doing a little bit of Cadian Fleshtone to lighten it up. And then after that, as you'll see here in the next frame, we're going to be doing just highlights of Kislev Flesh. You'll notice in a lot of this miniature that there is raised areas. Obviously the muscles, there's some boils and some circle areas that we're going to pick out. We're just picking out as much as you would like for the miniature. You don't need to necessarily do it. You can also do a dry brush of Kislev Flesh if you want, but I felt like doing a picking of the raised areas in certain areas was a little bit better than doing a dry brush. But it's up to you, as you'll see here in a second. Now, I will say that probably picking out the facial details is probably the most important part on this. So you're looking at the nose, the cheekbones, the forehead, and the chin, and we're just picking those areas out. And then I'm picking everything out around the back, arms, legs, that type of stuff. All right, for the hair and then the fur around the waist area, we're just going to be doing some Basilicanum Grey. Again, you probably got a bunch of dry brush stuff on there. It won't make the bit of difference once you put this over it. Now, if you wanted to go a little bit darker, you could do Black Templar, but I went with the grayish black. For the wrap around our giant axe, we're just going to be doing some quick skeleton horde. And don't worry, we're going to darken this up here in a little bit. And for the axe blade, we're just going to be doing some straight iron warriors. Got one more base color, and then we'll be moving on to a couple washes and then highlights. And then for the last little portion on the axe, we're just be doing some Retributor Armour. And then once all this is dry, we'll put on the washes here in a second. All right, for the axe, silver areas, we're gonna be doing some Nulin Oil. No surprise here whatsoever. And then for the wraps on the axe and the gold parts, we're gonna be doing Agrax Earthshade. Very, very, very easy. And then we're doing some Dawnstone for our first highlight. We're just picking out some hairs on the fur and then on the head and brighten them up a little bit. Obviously, just try and hit those raised areas on the fur and the hair. Don't try and get into the recesses whatsoever, as it will not look very good. For the gold areas, we're just doing the raised portions. If you wanted to do a different type of gold to brighten it up, you can, but since we put Agrax Earthshade on it, and we're going back with the base color, it's going to look bright, so you don't have to worry about it. For our axe, we're picking out the blade portion and the top of the pointy area on the axe itself. We're not going to try and overdo it. We're not going to paint the whole thing with Leadbelcher. We're just picking out some areas and making that blade look bright. For the orbital socket, or where the eyes go, we're just going to put a little bit of white in there, and then we're going to follow that up, that you'll see here in a second, with some Baal Red. The less amount of Baal Red you put in there, that white will stick through, which will give it that natural highlight, which is kind of what you want. You don't want it to be overly red, but that white will stick through, and that's why we put that in there. All right, focusing on the base now for all of our stone areas. We're just going to throw down some Nulin Oil. If you get some on that in the dirt patches, again, it doesn't really matter. We're about to paint over here in a second anyways. And then for the dirt areas, we're just going to do some Aggaros Dunes. If you want to throw some greens in there or some fake grass, you can. I typically keep all my tufts and fake stuff for all my Warhammer stuff because there's nothing on their bases. They're just blank. But it's up to you. And then your favorite part of painting the miniature, because it means you're done, is the rim of the base. And of course, I am doing mine in Abaddon Black, but you can do yours in whatever color you feel necessary for your Elden Ring board game. And that's it. That's all she wrote. Fairly simple, turned out pretty good. Decently happy with it. You could spend a lot of time on these miniatures, but there's so many to paint. There's not enough time. You want to get it on the table, so you just want it to be look good so that it looks good on the table, and that is it. Plus, you got a couple of these to paint anyways, so yeah. All right, well, again, I want to say thank you to all my YouTube members for all your support. I can't thank you enough. These do take a lot of time to edit and put out every week with a full-time normal job, family, kid stuff. The whole works. You know how it is. So I can't thank you guys enough. To all my subscribers, anybody who shares this, posts it, puts it on a forum, sends it to a friend, can't thank you guys enough for what you do. Like I said, 2 more videos of Elden Ring left. We have a bunch of Chronicles of Drunagar, a ton of Warhammer coming up. And then we're going to try and get into some other stuff since we'll be done with Elden Ring. So, yeah. All right, I love you all, and I'll see you on the next one. All right, paint on.